The Nations League stands alongside the Olympics and World Championship as one of the three major volleyball competitions. In June 2024, Fukuoka Prefecture's Kita-Kyushu City served as its host city. With the ballooning charge and responsibilities of hosting an international sports event, how was a minor city with a population of less than 1 million able to pull it off? Like the Paris Olympics, various efforts were made to reduce the event's environmental load and costs. Existing infrastructure was used in combination with temporary venues. A training venue was set up next to the competition venue, and the closest hotel was reserved for the teams, reducing the need for shuttle buses. Instead of meal boxes, meal tickets that could be used at local restaurants and food trucks were handed out to the over 300 staff members from Japan and abroad, reducing food loss. Stick balloons were proactively collected post-event and processed at a cutting-edge facility with minimal environmental load. Initiatives to inspire children and boost the future of the sport were also implemented. A key person in making these happen was Nakahira Toshihito, who has long worked behind the scenes to promote sports in Fukuoka Prefecture. In this program, we follow Nakahira to see what went into making it an event that set an example for future sports competitions. Kita-Kyushu City, Fukuoka Prefecture, is located in the north of Kyushu, an island in the south of Japan. A city of historical significance, it once thrived as a major trade hub linking Japan to mainland Asia. Kokura Castle stands as a symbol of the region's past as a gateway. Fukuoka Prefecture was chosen as the host of the Volleyball Nations League in January 2024. And one person was pivotal in its selection. That was Guido Betti from Volleyball World, the organization conducting the selection process. He aimed to make it an event that went beyond commercialism, was spearheaded by a local government, and had a low environmental impact. A decisive factor in Fukuoka's selection was its focus on One Health, which recognizes the interdependence of human, animal, and environmental health, and aims to protect the well-being of all. This approach resonated with the Fédération Internationale du Volleyball, or FIVB's core values of promoting health and happiness through sports. What went through Nakahira Toshihito's mind when faced with the immense task of organizing an international competition based on this new principle in just 5 months?
僕自身もバレーボールをやっていたので、そういう大会がね、やってくるっていうのは非常に僕自身もワクワクするんだけど、やっぱりこういった大会が東京だけじゃなくて大都市だけじゃなくて地方都市でもたくさん開催されるようになると、もっと地域に眠っている子どもたちの可能性っていうのも広がると思うから、どんどん福岡はもちろんだけどいろんなところでやってほしいですよね。
Nakahira's first course of action was to secure needed venues. As Kita-Kyushu lacked suitable indoor sports facilities, Nakahira set his sights on the West Japan General Exhibition Center, a 5-minute walk from Kitakyushu City's largest train station. While it already had bookings 6 months in advance, local corporations gave up their spots to show their support in prioritizing local revitalization. Nine days before the event's kickoff, the installation of the temporary venue began. A staff of approximately 200 assembled 25 10-ton trucks worth of parts, turning the once empty space into a full-on court ringed by rows of seats. To reduce waste, the majority of parts were reusable and to be stored away after the event for future use. A training venue was also set up in an adjacent building on the premises. While players normally take buses to and from training gyms, a focal point of this event was to keep facilities within walking distance to reduce its environmental load. The task of filling the space with the equipment required by world-class athletes was a first for the organizers. After holding several meetings with the FIVB on what was needed, they borrowed equipment from local sports schools and public sports facilities, securing the bulk of what was needed. This initiative was not only eco-friendly, but athlete-friendly as well.
トレーニング室を会場の横に仮設することで、選手たちが試合が終わった後すぐにリカバリーができたり、あるいは試合前の準備ができたりするようなゾーンとして、基本的にはこれは FIVB と話をして、アスリートファーストの観点で作ったのがこのトレーニング室です。
A practice court was also set up right next to the training area. This saved the athletes the time and energy needed to move from one place to the next. The area between the competition venue and the training gym became a place for players to meet their fans.
コミュニケーションを取ってもらえるようなエリアとしてこのファンゾーンというのを作りました。これまで日本の大会ではあまりそういう、近い距離感のエリアを設けてなかったんですけど。
An area dubbed the cheer zone was also made on the way to the training venue.
試合終わった、選手たちも非常に喜んでこのゾーンを歩いて、帰るという、場所ですね、これは。
A hotel 2 minutes by foot from the venue was secured for the players' use, enhancing player convenience and further reducing the event's carbon footprint. Various steps were also taken at the hotel to reduce the food loss often encountered when preparing meals for the players. These included proactively using local ingredients to reduce the need for transport, adjusting the amount based on analyses of past international competitions, coordinating schedules to provide each team with freshly made food, and encouraging smaller initial servings to reduce leftovers. Meanwhile, a new strategy was implemented for the event staff's meals. For this, the event organizers teamed up with the managers of restaurant complexes in the vicinity. In Japan, boxed meals are typically distributed to staff members at major sports competitions. However, large bulk orders to avoid shortages frequently result in major food loss. To prevent this, the boxed meals were replaced with meal tickets that could be used at nearby restaurants. A list of the restaurants that accepted them was compiled alongside information on the cuisine it offered, whether vegetarian options were available, and so on. This helped the event staff in their selection and also reduced the burden on non-English-speaking restaurant staff. An initiative on this scale was a first in Kitakyushu City. The organizers hashed out its details and ways to gauge its effectiveness.
券自体はちょっとまとめてお送りさせていただいて、別途どういう業種で使われたみたいなやつはデータでご報告するということにしたいと思います。
大変ありがとうございます。はい、そうしていただけると一番助かります。
Food trucks and food stalls selling local specialty dishes were also invited to set up shop in a park facing the venue for staff members on tight schedules to use their meal tickets. Waste reduction was another focal point, with the largest issue being the stick balloons that had become a must-have at volleyball matches. Big and generally only used once, they were often thrown away at nearby convenience stores and stations after events, causing headaches for local communities.
男子日本代表選手の山本智博です。
To prevent this, messages from the players regarding their disposal were shared on social media before and during the event. Thought was also given to the processing method of the collected balloons. Instead of incineration, a cutting-edge hydrothermal system under high temperature and high pressure was used, greatly reducing CO2 emissions and residue, and making the residue reusable as a cement bulking agent. As the staff undertook preparations at full steam, the city also shifted into gear. Station stairways and corridors were decked out with posters and banners announcing the event. Life-sized panels of the players were set up in major shopping complexes. Then, June 4th, and the start of the competition arrived.
まあ日にちがあんまりなかったのでバタバタと準備が進みましたけど、県の中でもいろいろと工夫してくれたり、それから関係者の皆さんがね力を合わせてくれて、で特にFIVB とか、バレーボールワールドとか、彼らが一生懸命ねバレーボールを普及したいという思いを僕らに教えてくれたので、僕らもなんとかそれに応えようと思って、今日迎えたので、今日からの盛り上がりは楽しみですね。
The men's competition was held first, followed by the women's competition, spanning 2 weeks and putting the preparations to the test. the competition venue, the advantages of the temporary facilities scored major points. For one, the closeness of the training venue to the competition venue enabled players to get in peak condition before the match and was praised by many players. The setup also elevated the fan experience.
Good ball.
The distance between the court and the seats was less than at regular venues, bringing the audience closer to the action.
超近かったね。もうすぐそこにいました、選手が。選手の声とかもうめっちゃ聞こえたんで、もう興奮しました。
At the fan zone, even those without tickets were able to see players up close as they went from the training zone to the competition venue. The players were also able to casually stop to sign items or take photos with fans, providing a level of interaction rarely seen at major sports events. The distance shrunk even further outside the competition venue. Players walked roughly 100 meters from the venue to the hotel, creating an at-home atmosphere only found in regional cities. Staff members were also seen about town. Walking to the station building just 5 minutes from the competition venue, they used their meal tickets to enjoy Kitakyushu's cuisine. In addition to reducing food waste, the meal tickets spread the event's economic benefits to a wider area. And while the food trucks were initially brought in to serve staff members unable to go far, the area was open to the public, becoming a hit with visitors and local residents.
じゃあ鉄火巻きとこの
これが天然の本マグロ。
Nakai Shinichi, who manages the space, was also taken by surprise.
そうですね、多分やっぱキッチンカーが売れて、平日にこんなに売り上げを立ったの初めてだみたいな声も出てますし、やっぱ土日だけじゃなくて平日でもこんだけ売れたっていうのはキッチンカー業者さんもみんな喜んでますね。
The park with the food trucks also featured an area with interactive volleyball activities.
向こう側では、バレーボールの選手たちがどれぐらいの高さをジャンプしてやってるのか、スパイクを打ってるのかとかいうのが分かるように、その高さの、に吊るしたボールに触ってもらったりとか、あるいはボールのスピードを測ったりとか、そういう体験像を設けて、それを見てすげえなって感じて、それから、会場に入ってまたプレーに、感動してもらうという、ゾーンになりますね。
To make volleyball more familiar to children, over 1,600 sixth graders from 25 schools in Fukuoka Prefecture were invited to watch a game. They were also given the chance to meet players from winning teams and hand them locally grown flower bouquets. The cultural exchange came about through Nakahira's discussions with the FIVB.
子どもたちにこういった大会を見てもらうっていうのはもう僕はすごく大事なことだと思っていて、やっぱり自分にはできないとか、ある意味自分の可能性に蓋をしてしまわないように、あんな選手になりたいとか、あんなプレーができたらいいなって思ってくれる子どもたちが少しでも出てくると、もっともっと子どもたちの可能性は広がっていくと思うから、そういった意味で選手の皆さんとできるだけ近い距離で交流をしてもらったりさせたいなというふうに思っていて、これを A5B と話をすると、できるだけ距離感を近づけた会場にしようよっていうふうに言ってくれたので、そういった意味では同じ思いで子どもたちを迎えることができたかなというふうに思いますね。
Stick balloons were seen throughout the stands and used to cheer on players. Announcements regarding their post-match collection were made at the venue and near the exits. As a result, the venue bins were filled one after the other.
ただバレーするだけじゃなくて、その他のとこにもなんか考えられてるのは、なんかただの大会ではないなっていうふうに思います。
海外からも来られていて、日本でそういう活動をしていて、ここに試合に来るだけでなく、日本のそういうところもしっかりしてるなと思います。
In addition to collecting bags filled with stick balloons from throughout the venue, the staff also walked around the city to check for littering.
帰りのお客さんがたくさん入れてくださって、普段よりもやっぱり回収率が多いです。いつもの大会ですと駅の間とかに落としてたりとかしてたりとかもあるんですけど、今回全然ないので、皆さんポスターであったり場内のアナウンスを聞いて協力してくれよっていう気持ちをすごく感じます。毎日駅まで歩いて点検してるんですけど、本当にないです。気持ちが届くって嬉しいですよね、ファンの方たち。
Guido Betti played a central role in bringing the competition to Fukuoka. What are his thoughts on how the event played out?
Connect the city and the sport, to connect the city and the player and the fans was for us the most important things to do. And I think the community has absolutely, or is, because it's still not finished, enjoying this event, excited by this event. And I think as a prefecture and as a city has been delivered to the community a big momentum. Because I see plenty of fans around the city looking for anybody which is a player to try to get connected, and very much excited. Coming here in the morning, queuing to come in is really huge passion, and for us is really a big honor to have the chance to deliver such a fantastic show to all these fans.
Kurauchi Isao, President-elect of the World Veterinary Association and a longtime proponent of One Health, monitored the event and commended its efforts to not only reduce the environmental load, but to promote human connections and take the One Health approach to the next level.
人と人との絆を大切にすると、人と動物の絆を大切にする、国と国の絆を深めると、これはワンヘルスにとって大事なことなんですね。そういう考え方を今日感じましたね。すごいことなんですよ。この大会の運営、いろんなことをワンヘルスの考え方を取り入れてね、やっていただけるというのは、でもこれね、スポーツ界に大きく広がっていくと思う。
About 3 weeks from the start of the temporary venue's installation, the event ended in success, with about 85,000 people taking in the men's and women's competitions.
僕もあまり寝てないですけど、僕以上に寝てないスタッフの人のなんていうかな、思いとか、なんていうかな、ハードワークとか、そしてなんとか成功させようという、気持ちとかね、なんかそんなのが 見えたので、彼らのおかげで成功したというふうにも思いますし、その人たちとの新しいメンバーとのつながりというのもできましたし、そんなのが思いがつなぎ合わされると、これから先ももっといい、イベントが開催されるだろうなというふうに思って、非常に嬉しく思います。
The event not only showcased Fukuoka Prefecture and Kitakyushu City's eco-friendly initiatives, but it also had a substantial economic benefit on the area. Nakahira hopes that the initiatives undertaken at this event will serve as an example for the next generation and local governments looking to take on the challenge of hosting sports events.
まだスポーツをやってない子どもたちとか、次の世代の子どもたちとか、やがて生まれてくる子どもたちに何か一つでもいいスポーツのシーンを残したいと思うので、こういう大会をやったことを自信にしながら、こんな大会こういうふうにしたらうまくいったよとかいうのを一人でも多くの皆さんに知っていただいて、でそれを生かした次の場所での大会があって、でさらにその大会を見てまたうちの大会がブラッシュアップされる、そんな繰り返しをしていけばいい未来が、スポーツの未来が子どもたちに残せるんだろうなと思うので、またぜひそういったチャレンジをしたいなと思います。
The legacy of Volleyball Nations League 2024 Fukuoka will be seen in the children who watched it, how it impacts local governments and sports associations worldwide, and how it helps the sport reach new heights.